Shit, no. Oh, that's like I'm doing this. Okay, are y'all listening?
Yeah, my name is John from Headline Records. Okay. Where I'm from? Well, I'm from France, but I live here now. I started to listen punk when I was like around 17. I quit school very early because I didn't really like school, and it was really not really for me. And I had a degree for painting and decorating, and found a job at 16. That's it. Before I was listening music, but my parents, they weren't into music at all. I mean, they love music, but my parents are not those type of people where, they're going to buy a vinyl or CD and play it. They don't have CDs, they don't have vinyl, in their home. Of course, all my childhood, I didn't have any music. The only form of music I discovered was my uncle, who had a Patti Smith album. He had a few albums, but the Patti Smith album was amazing, and I was listening that over and over. It was really, really good. When I started to work at 16, I had my own money, and the first thing I bought was a stereo. So I was buying some vinyl, and it's like that I started. And I met a mutual friend, who was into punk rock, and he said, oh, listen this, listen that. It blew my mind. And it just started like this, it just started like, wow, that's amazing.
A little word leftover crack.
It just became like that, with passion. I like music in general. It's not just punk rock. I like music in general, but punk rock is my thing. It's really because it's just so different. It grabs you. I came to UNSS in '95. I was working one day. Said I have to make a decision. Because I cannot stay like this. It's not. I'm just going to be okay. Or I'm going to do it or not. And that moment, that is the only thing I'm proud of. When you apply for a visa, you need to do something to present your project, especially in the United States. It's not a small move, it's like a big move, especially career-wise. You change career, you change everything. It was a painful transition, if I can say that, and decision. But here, now, you have the net, Back then you didn't have a fucking net. It was, I can show you, I have a big book like this. You have to send paper, letters to organization to give us information about, the music industry, blah, 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 all the stats. I didn't present it as a punk store, I represent it as a rock and roll store. More specialized, but not as a punk, because sometimes punk can be, controversial, if I can say that. But I said it's going to be more on the rock and roll side. Or you have the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, blah, 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 blah. Well, represent a big part of the music industry. You have the hip hop, you have the techno, you have the dance, you have blah, blah. So you have to put all those things, in a documented, Again, it took me almost, I'm not saying 2 years, but like at least a year and a half to do that. When I arrived, I had already a list of a lot of labels. You want to, okay, yeah, now can I have wholesale, because now I have a store in LA, smaller label, and I was dealing with a lot of labels. I'm not saying dealing with them, but back then I was ordering some stuff from them, especially back then in 95. Again, the net just started. Nobody had any website, nobody. So you still were doing everything on the old-fashioned way. I wanted to do shows, I said, why not to do shows? Because it was very different. You didn't have any regulations to do shows in a store. A lot of stores were doing it, so I started almost right away. You have a lot of bands who were like touring. I said, why not just to contact some bands and local bands, and when they want to play, they can play at the store. I'm going to be here anyway, working. That's why not to have some shows at the store. That's why it started like that. Something very, very simple. Headline, this is John. Okay, I don't know. What are you looking for? No, I don't have that for sure. Sorry. It's all released. Have you tried Discogs? I'm gonna spell you the name of the website. Discogs, spell DISCOGS.com. You're welcome. Okay, bye-bye. Okay. So that's it. I'm not saying I was the only one in the world doing that.
And so the next song is not to her. It's about veganism. In fact, it's about people that call themselves vegan but aren't because they fucking eat sugar. Sugar is torture and death. This
I had a lot of ideas, but I can't miss the train. I mean, so I'm not saying that in a way, I really miss the train because I have inline. Okay, imagine 1 second, to give you a little bit example, and you're going to understand because about what you're doing, okay? Imagine you're doing that right now. That is kind of like your focus, and somebody comes up to you and say, well, why not to do this, why not to do that, and make this, make that, whatever. And you say, well, I'm doing that right now, and I want to be focused on that because my school who asked me to do that, that's going to be my degree, blah, blah, blah. And you said, I'm going to be focused on that. I don't want to be too thin, that if I touch this, if I touch that, and after that, I cannot finish this. It was really more important. It's kind of that what happened with me. I have a lot of opportunities when I came to the United States because it's a very different setup here. It's very different. You have a lot of things, especially in 94, 95, especially with the technology. The technology was booming, was starting, I missed a lot of stuff. Could be very successful now, especially on the technology part. I said, I cannot just put myself thin, and do all those things and not knowing if it's going to work, especially in 95. At that time, you didn't know if the web's going to be big or not. It was pretty new, the idea and everything, but you didn't know if it's going to be good, for long term. Sometimes I think about it, but at the same time I say, well, it's going to be the way it is. I don't regret it.
It's not long enough.
Nice feedback.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. What did the fuck?
You have to think really about, if it's going to be your career or not. That is one of the questions you have to ask yourself. Don't think, in the short term. Think on the long term. If you really want to do something, anything, if you want to do that as a career, it's going to be for a long time. It's why you have to really think about, I'm willing just to do that for 30, 40 years. And you have to be careful about your passion, not to destroy it, not to, it's a big question. It's like you're talking about like a career. What's the point to work a lot for 2 or 3 years and in the end you say, I don't like it? Well, why you didn't think about it before, It's every single person who has a big passion, and you really like, that passion. You already try to think about your passion as a career. It's just, it happened to me, just to I'm not saying I wanted to do a record store in the first place. No, but you know, I have the opportunity just to do it, you know, financially. So I said, why not to do that? And it's something I love, and let's see if it's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I try one time, and you know what I mean? It's just like this. Hold on. Headline, this is John. Sorry? Converge? Converge CD? Let me see if we have some Converge. I don't know if we have some Converge. Give me a second, I'm gonna check.